Assalamualaikum everybody. I don't know who's with me and who's not, but what are we? The topic for today, inshallah, and I'm so excited to share this with you. So the topic is how to trick your brain into making your dream life happen for you right now. And we've all had those moments where we like thinking, I know I can do so much more than this, and I know I can, or we've like dreamed of traveling the world, or we've dreamed of going on Umrah or Hajj, and yet we find ourselves just stuck in the same situation over and over and over again. And if you're there watching, I want you to tell me if you've been there, and maybe you can share a goal with us. Is there a goal that you've been trying to achieve for such a long time and you've not been able to move forward with it despite you thinking about it all the time and trying to achieve it? I'd love to know. So I can tell you a few. For years and years, I always thought I really want to travel and like go to different countries every year, but I kept like procrastinating or kept waiting for the right time for it to happen, and I never actually took any action on it. Assalamualaikum Zahra. Jazakallah for joining us. I'm just asking that does anybody have any like a goal that they have in their mind which they've been wanting to do or achieve for a long time and haven't been able to do? So if you've got something, then let me know. So, oh, there's 4 people now. Assalamualaikum everyone. So I was just asking, does anybody have like something or a goal or a dream that they've been like hoping to achieve for such a long time, but they've just been feeling stuck on it, or they've been trying, they've been thinking about it, but it just not happening for them. And I just, no, they're working, Zahra, I can see them. Jazakallah. So just let me know in the comments if you've had anything like that. And I was saying that one of my dreams that I felt really stuck on was that I really wanted to travel, and I always said, oh, one day, and I always put it on like the someday pile. Inshallah, one day I want to travel. One day I'm going to go to Umrah. Like I had this dream of going to Umrah every year, and one day I'm going to like do something that is really joyful for me, and I'm going to teach people about Islam and write books, or teach people how to like teach little children how to learn Quran. And I had all these ideas and all these dreams, and you just feel so stuck when you've got all these things inside you, but you just can't, you don't know how to achieve them, and year after year you're thinking about them, and you know you've got this potential inside you, but it's just not happening for you. And if you've ever felt that way, just let me know in the comments, and let me know what your goal has been, or maybe you've still got a goal that you feel stuck on. And inshallah today, I'm going to talk about how you can start making that happen for yourself. So, the first thing that we're going to talk about is intentions. Sometimes we have an idea in our mind. Nadia's saying, I can't say I've been stuck for a long time, but I would like to make money from my blog, but have no idea how to do it. Oh, that's an interesting question, Nadia. That's more like a business one, which is probably like some strategies that you need to put into place, or some things you can do in terms of marketing and getting customers. And maybe we can cover that in another video, inshallah. But I'm talking more about like goals like maybe losing weight or getting fit, and we just feel stuck on them. Or even bigger dreams than that. And so the first thing I'm going to say is that to make your dreams happen, you need to have intention. So you need to make an intention of what your dream is. So for example, Zahra saying starting a project, and what you need to do is you need to get really clear on what your dream is, like super clear. So, and very detailed about it. Exactly what do you want to do? So for example, Nadia wants to make money from her blog. How much money do you want to make, Nadia? Why do you want to make money with it? What kind of customers do you want to attract? How do you want to help them? You need to go into a lot of detail, and you need to really sit in with your vision and describe it in full detail for yourself. And that's the only way, because your brain only responds because your brain will only respond when you give it clear, detailed action plans, and it won't respond to vagueness. And as long as you're feeling vague about it, you also won't be able to make an action plan towards that goal. And this is also part of the deen, like the Prophet ﷺ said, all actions are according to intentions. The Ashab radiallahu anhum, like there's a story where some of the Sahaba were sitting around the Kaaba and they were having a conversation, and they said, oh, what du'as are you making? And then they got into detail about it, and one of them said, oh, I want to be the governor of Iraq, and one of them said, I want to marry this woman, and they all made dua for it. And then a few years later, when they got together, they found that they had all achieved their different duas and the different goals that they had set for themselves. So get super clear about your intention. And if you have to, I would recommend that you write a detailed statement of exactly what you want, and write it as a dua. So say, ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for what you want and detail it and write it out in detail. And secondly, for that thing for something to happen for you, you have to keep repeating it to yourself. So the reason why we sometimes have these big goals but we don't take any action on them is because we don't keep them at the forefront of our minds. So we have, like, let's say we go to a talk, we hear someone and it's really inspirational, and it comes to the front of our mind and we're like, oh yeah, I could do this, I could do that. From now on, I'm going to start eating healthy. And then for 1 or 2 days, we have it at the forefront of our mind, we keep acting on it, and then later we forget about it. Because what happens is our brain slowly adapts to its usual pattern of thinking, our usual pattern of behavior, and we stop doing what we were planning to do. So what you have to do is, once you've made this detailed written statement, I'm giving you like practical tips. You have to actually do these to make this happen. And this actually works. So if you write a detailed statement of exactly what you want to achieve and go into full detail about it, and exactly how it's going to look, how you're going to feel when it happens, and then make a dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with all that detail for that to happen for you. And then to keep it at the forefront of your mind, you need to keep reading that statement. So for example, I actually have one written down for myself, and in the morning, I write it down every day. Every day I write it down and make dua to Allah for that. And a lot of it has already happened for me, alhamdulillah. But this is something like, because what happens is your brain, when it has, your brain is such a thing that if something gets repeated to your brain starts believing it, even if it's nonsense. And this is how like dictatorships work as well. They repeat information to their countries or their people, even if it's incorrect, but by constant repetition, everyone will start believing it. So for example, nowadays we have in the media like, oh, Islam, terrorism, Islam, terrorism, Islam, terrorism, like those two words just come together, that naturally if you say Islam to someone, they'll associate it with terrorism because of the constant repetition that is happening. And that's a trick that they use. But in the same way, you can use that trick to your advantage by constantly repeating something to yourself, and your brain will automatically absorb that idea and it will make it happen. And once you show an idea to your brain will start figuring out ways of how to make it happen. And the thing I want to tell you is that be wild and be really bold in what you want to dream and what your goals are. So don't just say, I want to make money. Exactly how much money do you want to make? What do you want to do with that money? What do you hope to achieve with that money? So for example, when I first started with my business and everything, I was like, oh, I want to make money. And then I spoke to someone and she was like, that's not good enough. You need to say exactly why you want that money and how much you want it for. Because and the other thing that happens is when you have these goals without any reason, you feel guilty about them. So for example, let's say you say, oh, I want £1 million. You start feeling guilty about why you want that £1 million and why you're being so greedy. But actually, when you write down, oh, I want that £1 million because I want to open 10 orphanages in Africa, and each orphanage is going to cost me this many £200,000. Now you no longer need to feel guilty about it because you know exactly what you're going to do with that money that you're going to achieve. And now you're saying, I am wild, I want money for cheap thrills. Okay. jokes aside, be really wild about your dreams. So don't limit yourself. And there's like these two ways of doing this exercise. There's one way where you can just think of what is your perfect day, and that might be like, oh, I wake up in the morning, I have nothing to do, then I do some work, and then I spend time with my kids, and then that will bring you up with a day that is ordinary. But the real way to do this exercise is to think of the most wildest and most fun things that you would do. Like if you were to have the most amazing, fun, wildest day you could ever imagine, what would that look like? And put anything down. Maybe you would be in a safari on the Sahara Desert with riding an elephant, and maybe after that you would go for a picnic on the beach with all your family, and then after that maybe you would do a talk at the World Conference where all these different countries attend. I don't know, it could be anything, but just let your imagination go wild, and let it go wild. Write it all down, and then once you've written it down, you need to keep repeating it, like I said. And a bit of a brain fact for you: it takes your brain 90 days to absorb a new idea. So whatever you've got right now in your life, that is all. Zahra's laughing. I would actually love to ride elephants in the Sahara Desert, to be honest. But anyway, whatever your brain is accustomed to right now, you can only change that after you repeat a new message for 90 days. And if you look back at your life, you'll realize that actually all the things that are happening right now in your life are something that you've been fed or you've heard. Like maybe as you were growing up, all you heard was everyone does a job. They go to university, then they go and get a job, they go to work from 9 to 5, or maybe they even do night shifts and day shifts, and then they come home and they have a little bit of time with their family. So you assumed that was normal. And once you assumed that was normal, do they have elephants in the Sahara Desert? That's a really good point, Nadia. I don't think they do, actually. Oh my God, they have elephants in Africa, don't they? I don't know where I was going with that, but that's what I imagine in my mind. Some like safari in the desert with elephants. Okay, could be another desert. And Tashna's saying, so true. Yeah, so your mind, everything that is happening for you currently in your life, if you really focus and you really think about it, it's everything that you've picked up from your surroundings. And so it's unintentional. You didn't even decide what's going to happen for you. You just picked up like what everyone else around you was talking about, or how they lived their lives as a child. Like you just assumed that that's the way life is supposed to be, so you carried on doing that way. And now if you want to create change in your life, you have to rewire your brain. Literally, you have to rewire your brain. And this is like neuroscientifically proven as well, that you have these nerve pathways in your brain, and when you think a certain thought, a certain neural pathway gets fired. And to change that thought, you have to, like, every time the neural pathway is getting fired, you have to change it and change its track. And if you keep doing that, next time when you think that thought, that nerve pathway will change and you'll have a different thought about the idea. So, and this can affect a lot of things in life. So for example, I'll give you my own example. My parents were divorced, and all I constantly heard around me was about how it was such a bad thing, and it was such a shame, and look at these poor children, and oh my God, and it's such a disaster, and this could have happened. And I really absorbed this idea that divorce was this big, bad, shameful thing that's not supposed to happen, and if it happens to you, you're really unfortunate, and you're really like a poor soul that needs pity. And so obviously when I grew up, I was really scared of that happening to me, and in a way I absorbed that and attracted it to myself. And then secondly, when I did get divorced, I did feel exactly like that. So I was so ashamed, so feeling of unworthy, and feeling like I was like a sorry case. And that's just one example. Or even working, like you just assume you have to go to university and then get a job because that's all you've seen. And to change that and rewire your brain, so you have to know that if you commit, because we all know that our dreams, when we think about them, they're actually really big, and they're normally quite huge, and they're completely different to the reality that we're living. So if any of you can relate to that, please tell me, have you got any dreams or amazing ideas, like, or even those little thoughts that sometimes come to you and you think, oh, I wish I could do that. Like, don't limit yourself. What is that thought that comes to you? Like, oh, I wish I could do that. What is that thought? Because I want to tell you something, like, this is from the scholars, that they say that if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brings an idea to your mind, or if he brings some information to your mind, or if you hear a hadith, or if you hear an ayah, or if you hear a concept, like for example, if you hear about a wali of Allah, or someone who's really close to Allah, who achieved so much love towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and how they live their life, and you get really impressed, that's actually a sign that you have the ability within yourself to achieve the same thing. So whatever knowledge or information or ideas that come to your mind, if they come to your mind, that means Allah only brings us knowledge that we are able to act upon, or we have the ability to make happen. So if you had an idea, for example, to write a book, Allah only put the idea in your mind because He knows that you have the ability to write a book. And what happens is, if we don't take those ideas, if we don't act on those ideas, if we don't make them happen, if we don't try to do that, provide that service, or act on that idea that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us, Allah takes it from us and He gives it to someone else who will actually act on it. And I don't know about you, but I've seen that happen so many times, where I've had an idea and I've thought about it, but haven't acted on it, and then maybe 1 year later or a few months later, I've like seen someone else like doing that exact same thing that I was thinking about, and I'm like, oh wow, like maybe I could have done it, like why didn't I do it? And I was sitting there thinking about it, feeling scared about it, maybe I could have done it. And that's because whatever the idea that you have, or that service that you want to provide, is something that is needed by humanity, or by the ummah, or by the Muslims, or by the community. And if you don't do it, Allah will go and send the idea to someone else who will act on it and who will do it. So whatever information you have that comes to you, don't limit yourself, don't belittle yourself, don't think that you can't achieve that thing, or that you're too small to do that thing. If it's come to you, Allah has given you the ability to achieve it and to do it. So believe in yourself. And then, like I said before, repetition. And I said about writing a statement. The second thing that you can do, this is actually like quite scientifically proven as well, that images, your brain thinks in images. So let's say for now, when I was saying to you, Sahara Desert, how many of you thought of the word Sahara Desert written down? Let me know what you thought of. Did you think of like a picture in your mind? Maybe like you had seen maybe you've seen a film or something with the desert in it, or maybe you've seen some pictures on the internet. Did you think of that? And when I was saying about riding elephants, did you think of an actual, like the picture of an elephant, or did you think of the word elephant written down? So let me know what you saw. And generally, most of us don't see words, we see images, and our brain responds to images much more than words. I thought of a sand desert and the wind blowing. Yeah, exactly. We don't see the words, we see the images. So even more powerful exercise that you can do is to create a vision board, or create images, or save them in your phone. So all your dreams, whatever they are, attach images to your dreams and save those images and look at them every day. Keep repeating it. And like I said, this kind of work takes time. Don't expect it to work in a few days. But if you stick with it, and draw 2 images actually. Draw 1 image of where you are right now. So you need 2 things. You need a plan or a description of where you are right now, and an images associated with that. And then you need, so this is where you are now, and this is where you want to go. This is where your goal is. I'm so very trying to find elephants. That's exciting, Nadia, if you saw that. So if you have your images or your description of where you are right now, and then where you want to go, and you visually draw it, or stick it, or paint it, do something, do it with your hands. And I want to encourage you to draw the images, and then keep looking at it every day. And then in the image where you want to go, pick 1 thing that really inspires you, that you find really inspiring, 1 image, and keep looking at it every day. Save it in your phone, look at it in the morning, look at it at night, And then once you've got these 2 images, this actually works. So if you do this, you will see the results. And if you don't do it, then in 3 months' time, you'll still be stuck wherever you are right now. So I really want to encourage you to do this. So do the 2 images. And once you've done them, ask yourself, what is the bravest, boldest action that I could take to grow from this image to this image? Ask yourself that question and keep asking yourself that question, and your brain, subhanAllah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made it so amazing, it will naturally, all the answers that you need are within you. You don't need anybody else to tell you what you need to do. Your brain, when it looks at those images, when it keeps absorbing that information every single day, your brain will automatically come up with what you need to do. And it will be crazy, it will be really bold, and it will be something that you haven't imagined doing, or maybe you've never done before. But the thing is, growing and expanding into your dreams and living them takes discomfort. It takes facing your fear, and that's even part of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's plan for our soul to get refined, for our soul to develop and to reach that higher state. We have to go through tests, and every time this test is going to get harder. If we just keep going, and if your life isn't changing, like there's this quote by one of the scholars, I can't even remember the name now, but what it says is that if you don't find yourself facing new challenges every day, and if you don't find that your today is better than yesterday, and if you don't find that this Ramadan is better than the last Ramadan, and if you don't find that this year is better than the last year, then you have to know that you're doing something wrong. Because Allah's not sending you any tests, Allah's not making you grow, your soul isn't getting refined, you're just stuck on one level and you're not moving forward, you're not moving up. So if you're finding yourself that if you're in the same situation all the time, or for the last 5 years you've been stuck in the same situation, you need to question yourself. There's something you're not doing right. Maybe you're not being bold in taking action. Maybe you're getting these ideas but you're not acting on them. Maybe you've got these goals in your mind. Maybe you know you need to lose weight. Maybe you know you need to eat healthy, but you're still stuck in the same pattern. So you have to, Allah says, Allah does not change the situation of a people until they change themselves. So you have to look within yourself and you have to take really bold action, and it's going to be hard. It's not going to be easy. Like some people think, oh yeah, it's all hunky-dory when someone else is describing it. Oh yeah, I can do that, I can do that. But actually it's not. All these things, change takes effort. To get to a new level of existence, to get to a new level of yourself, it all takes really hard work. And even Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, there's an ayah which says, do they think that they're going to achieve piety or they're going to achieve Jannah? The meaning of the ayah is without Allah testing them, the way He tested the nations that came before them, the way He tested the prophets, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Do you think that you're going to achieve high things or do great things without you being tested? That's not going to happen. So expect it to be hard, but at the same time, be firm in your intention and make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help you, and keep making dua. Make dua at the times when the duas are accepted. Make dua at the tahajjud, make dua after your salah, and keep asking Allah to help you. And take those practical steps that I'm giving you and actually do them, and you will see that things will start to happen for you. And if you do that, if you do these vision boards, I've done it for myself, and I've literally, I was looking at my vision board the other day. I know I did a video a while back, but I've actually now just got like 1 or 2 things that are left on my vision board that I haven't achieved. And I was thinking, oh, I need to do a new one, because the old one is like, of most of them I've done already now. And now I was thinking I need to do a new one to push myself to a new level and to achieve new things. So just do that, and trust me, it works. And then the other thing, like what I was saying about what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, like change yourself. Like you can only change your situation if you change yourself. And one of the things, like I've even noticed in the group and from sisters who have like not posted in the group but sent me messages privately, is that there's a lot of us who are using a lot of negative language. So I want you to really focus on the language you're using and change the words that you're using for yourself. Nadia saying, mashallah, good for you, jazakallah khair, Nadia. And dua really helps. Yes, Zahra, it does. What was I saying? Okay, yeah, the words that you use really change your situation. So if you, for example, you might be struggling with something, and if you keep saying, oh, I'm struggling with this, I'm struggling to lose weight, I'm struggling to lose weight, I'm struggling to lose weight, your brain will keep hearing those words and it'll put them into a reality, so it'll make you struggle. Whereas you can change your words. You could say, I'm learning how to lose weight, or I'm exploring different ways of how to lose weight, or I'm trying to find out how I could lose weight. Or you could say, or you could, maybe you're someone who's always getting stuck in their emotions, and you could say, oh, you could keep saying to yourself, I get stuck in my emotions, I feel sad, I feel depressed. And the more you say it, the more your brain will absorb that message, and the more it will happen for you. So you need to change those words. And even if you're struggling or stuck, find a different way to express that emotion, so that it indicates that you're growing through it. So maybe you could say, I'm exploring how to express my emotions in a better way, or how to work through my emotions. And the moment you start changing your words and start saying something different, your brain will start reacting to it and changing the way that situation comes up for you and the way it happens for you. And lastly, back to وَأَلَّيْسَ لِلْإِنسَانِ إِلَّا مَا سَعَى, like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, the human being can only have what they take action towards, or what they strive towards. And that takes me back to the point that any goal that you want to achieve, anything that you want to do, is only going to happen if you keep striving towards it, if you keep taking action. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to come to you without hard work. And that is, not unfortunately, but that is the cost of success. That is the cost of living what your dreams are, or making the difference you want to make. The cost is hard work and effort, and you can't have the result without that. So believe in yourself, make dua, and do these exercises. Keep your goal and your vision at the front of your mind. That will stop you from procrastinating every day and from delaying things and not making what you want happen. And if you actually do these vision boards and images and things like that, these exercises make a huge difference. And keep making dua and keep repeating what you want to do, and take action, consistent action, and not just consistent but bold action. That is really important point. Like, if you keep doing the same thing that you've done for the last 5 years, nothing's going to change. If you want a different result, you have to take a different action. You have to do something that is out of your comfort zone, something new, something you haven't tried before. Go to someone who's done it and ask them, what did they do? And copy them. Do what they did, even if it feels strange or if you feel nervous about it. And that's my piece for today. And if you have any questions, then please ask, inshallah. I did a video before in the group on vision boards, and I know that since then we have a lot of new members, and I think I've deleted that video. So if any sisters are interested in me doing a repeat of that and explaining how to make a vision board, then do let me know, because it's really great method of making your goals happen for yourself. And there's 3 people watching. Zahra, maybe Nadia, do you have any questions? Zahra sending me thumbs up. Zahra. All right then, that's everyone. That's everything for today, and I hope that helped. And I hope that everyone's going to now make a vision board, write a written statement of what they want to do. And I would love it if you would actually write down and share with us in the group what your dream is. Or Tashna saying, I would like to do that. Yeah, okay, inshallah. Do you mean that you would like me to do a video on how to make a vision board? I assume you mean that. I can do one, inshallah. I'll arrange that during the week sometime. But if you take these actions, like on a serious note, if you actually do these, you'll see like a huge difference. Like within a few months, you'll see like things start to happen for you. And if you, I'd love it if you would, and also the other thing is, like when you say things out loud, like when you say your dreams out loud, that makes a difference. So if like when I keep saying, I know in the group I keep saying, oh, share your wins, share your intentions, tell us what you're planning. There's a purpose behind that, because the moment you say something out loud or share it with other people and let them know, your brain reacts to it in a different way, and it makes it happen. Like you become accountable to it in a different way as to what you're thinking in your mind. So that's something for you. If you really want Allah, like if you really want these things to happen for you, come back in the group and put your vision boards or write your statements, and inshallah that way I can also give you feedback and let you know if you need to add more detail to it, or maybe I can ask you questions to make you get more precise about what you want and how you want it, inshallah. Jazakallah khair, and assalamu alaikum.